Okay, well, we've got our short live going. You're gonna have to give me a minute because I got to get all these little lives going. And then we're gonna go over here. See if we can't open this up in a new tab. Work this here. Let's click on getting everything running. And let's see. All right, trying to figure out how to switch it up a bit. And trying to get my full live going at the same time. So if you're watching on my short, thank you for being here because we're working on it. And let's see how this goes. Because what do we have here? No, that's not the gear guy pick. Yes, yes. Okay, so we've got that one's working. And Extreme can with battery, blah, blah, blah. Yes. Select and start streaming. Okay. About to, yes. Push that manual live. There we go. My gosh, am I going to get this both working at the same time? My goodness gracious. By George, I think we've got it. And that's done. Public, yes. Save, yes. Ooh, look at that. Let's verify, let's verify, let's verify. And then all right. Now, just waiting for me to get this sorted out. So by all means, everybody is welcome to watch me figure out how I'm doing my thing here. So somehow I'm supposed to be able to get to manage Papa dashboard, go live, go live. Yes. There we go. That should now be in the videos live column feed soon. And that's that. Okay. And that is somewhere else. All right. And let's see. Is that still a stream? If we're gone here, that's live. That's live. Streaming. and then go here. But yet that picture's gone. Where'd that picture go? All right, that picture's there. That's now, is it because I can't do both at the same time? I don't understand. Because that one says 27 seconds end stream, no. So, okay, all right. Do you hear me, by the way? Yeah. Can you hear me? And yes. And we live. Yeah. Hey, why not? Let's go. Let's do it. Sounds good? Okay. Thank you, Ricky. If it sounds good, it sounds good. By the way, this is available hopefully on both streams. Yes, there's stuff in front of me and we're going to do some stuff here. Okay. I'm trying out this vertical and there's a standard. So again, if you're on my channel or you use whatever magical links, because I don't know how that works, it'll get you to both of those actual streams. So again, if anybody has any difficulty hearing me, and again, thank you, Rick, for being there. This way I'm not by myself. I appreciate that. It's always nice. But hey, to everybody who's watching this after the fact, that's also awesome because, you know, lots of great people come during a live and then, you know, we see some people afterwards. So again, if anybody has any issues, Rick's hearing me good. By the way, Rick, what do you listen to? How do you use it? It's on your phone, your PC, or you got earbuds? What are you listening to on? Or maybe you're in your car, who knows, right? So we'll go with that and see how that is going on. And unglued, look at that. Yes, we are live. Look, unglued. There you go. I was trying to measure it. Phone. That's not bad. That means basically by you typing that reply, it really shows up that it's only about 20 seconds delay. So that's very, very good. All right, so let's start the show because you know what? We can talk all day about, you know, live streaming on YouTube and how crazy it is, but we've got some shit to talk about today. So I'm going to keep an eye on what's going on here. Look at that. Everybody's seeing my demo. And yeah, okay. So we've got gear. We've got lots of products. I got to spin this off or else it's not, it's going to just show the, hey, look at my actual number of people chiming in. Come on. I got to get used to this. I stacked my monitors. What a day. That was a great way. Okay, so today we're talking about portable speakers and all those good things. And I've got a bunch of them here and we're going to talk about a bunch of them. So we've got a bunch of them here. Now I just noticed on my short that everything changes real time. So we're going to be going with that. That seems to be okay for me. Yes, I'm just trying to do two things at the same time and do this all by myself. So Alan's here as well. Look at that. We got people on both chats. I don't know how or I'm going to keep track of this. There's so much going on. Look, even James dropped by. Hello, James. James, are you on the short or are you on the regular feed? Because I only see one feed box right now. So here we go. All right, I'm going to try and bring up the chat on my on here because I've got one too many screens going on at the same time. So, yeah, I know I'm fussing with it. So the idea here is basically me critiquing and giving my 2 cents on a whole bunch of speakers that you can buy that are practical, reasonable, easy to use, all that kind of stuff. Thump Go. FTW. What? Really? Come on. So, whole bunch of speakers. And I got to find out if I'm in the camera shots here. Look, oh, look, there we are down there. Let's fix that. If you're watching the short video, I'm going to move you around now. Fix you up. There we go. Okay. Try and do this all at the same time. So the idea here is that these are small, portable, easy speakers. Plus, as a bonus, I do have the subwoofer here as well, the Mackie Thump Go. We'll get that right one day. I'm pretty sure that's the way it calls. But also reasonable price versus amazing. And I don't have them, but there's we've got the Electro-Voice and we've got the Bose, and we want to talk about those too because if you're buying a practical size speaker for, let's say, professional use, so you know you're raking it in, Money's not a problem. You've got gigs all the time. You're doing jobs, regardless if it's DJing, busking, doing live sets, or maybe you play guitar, maybe you're doing a live thing. You got to ask yourself, what is practical? I mean, there's so many choices. Originally, remember, we used to go out and buy stuff like this. We wanted a battery-powered speaker. We'd simply do this. Go out there. We get one of these. This, by the way, badass, portable. If you're a busker and you're buying a speaker, a busker would go out and get the speaker, somebody like that. Because you know what? You've got to think of how much you're going to spend, how much money is in your pocket. Because to be honest, if you're like gigging to pay the rent at the end of the month and you're going to do something on the subway, at the street corner, in front of the, you know, whatever it is, you're not going to go out and spend $800, $500, $600 on a speaker. You want to have a great sounding speaker without all the effects. And I know I think James, I might have been mistaken. James might have brought this up, where apps basically are just running up the bill when it comes to these products. These products keep getting more and more expensive with extra features on them. This is a perfect example. Now, right now there's no stock of this, but if you went out, if you were busking or you needed an extra speaker that you're going to use occasionally, make a couple extra bucks with, you can get this like secondhand, brand new, basically for 150 bucks. And it does pretty much everything you're going to want it to do for most folks. I mean, of course, you know, you're going to need some extra things if you want to have effects on your pedals and stuff like that, but there's no app. You're not paying for an app. You're not paying for all the additional lithium, battery, and smart tech and all that kind of stuff. You get Bluetooth out of something like this, you're going to have the ability to have either two mics or mic guitar. You can mix it up. You can plug in some extra equipment into it as well. So that could be anything at all that is not a mic or a guitar. Plug it right in there. It's going to work. Everything from a controller to keyboard to drum set, that works on here. Plus it also gives you some extra stuff, but things like, you know, lights and stuff, that's not my thing. So let's skip over that. Now that's what you get here. You plug USB piece in, battery, wheels, everything, $150. Now, why do I use that as a benchmark? Because after this, it just gets crazy. Now the products get awesome. I mean, we're talking about really, really nice stuff. But remember, take it in context to the price that these products are coming out at. Now, what we see, Alto. And I know a lot of people out there are going, let me just click over here for a second. So we are going to go to the Alto. We're going to look at this. So remember, I was talking to you about a speaker here that, let me transition here for a second. I want everybody to see this. This was $150. Now it's used and this one's banging it. But you know, hit and miss with this. That's why you go to a Guitar Center, you see what they've got, or you go online, see what stores have what available. But a reasonable price can get you an awful long way if you don't want a crazy amount of bells and whistles and you just want something small, portable, and loud so you can entertain the people in front of you, right? That's the whole point. Now, if we went off and we said, hey, what do we do if we, by the way, am I that smart? Would I say FTW for the win? I think so, right? For the win. We'll say it's for the win. Come on. It's possible, I would say. Now, EVERSE 8. I just wanted to make sure I got the name right. EVERSE 8. So EVERSE 8, look at that, $124. So I want you to remember that. A lot of you out there have the EVERSE 8 and you all swear by it. Now you swear by it, but at the same time, I'd swear at it if it wasn't like awesome, because it's, well, even on sale, that's $75 off. Remember, all the links are down below, by the way, so hook up this channel by using those links. I won't say it too many times. I'll just mention it there just to let you know. But very important, $725. I expect that to be awesome speaker. And I know it's an awesome speaker. Everybody says it's an awesome speaker. I personally know Electro-Voice products. It's an awesome speaker. But that's what happens when you spend like $800 on a piece of hardware, right? There's a high expectation. You're going to order it. It's just going to work. Is it everything you need it to be? Is it too much? Is it more than you need? Are there options? That's what we're gonna look at today. Now, you think that $800 or $724 when it's on sale is basically pretty awesome, but you know, Bose L1. This was like the benchmark for like the longest time, right? An L1 was just an awesome piece of hardware. Now, you got to ask yourself, it's $600. Why is this so much more? I mean, this is like going Mercedes and BMW, really. I mean, we're not talking about Mustangs and Camaros here, right? Now, let's go over here for a second. Let's get back to Alto. Let's get back to here. $340. So this is a fraction of the price. So it's more than getting into the basics, and it's a lot of great stuff going on here. Now, it's smaller. It's smaller, but it's feature packed. It's got so much crazy stuff in it. I really got to learn to spin it over because everybody in the short's getting everything. But hey, look at me trying to walk back and forth here. Why? Because I got to do that. I got to change the screen because now you got to see the Alto. It's not just something that we have on the computer located next to the actual Guitar Center site. It's here. It's right here. Turn the logo. Ta-da! Turn the logo. It's small. It's heavy though. It's got some weight to it. I'm glad I own one. I eventually will sell this, I guess, because, you know, I did pay for it, by the way. That's why you don't see a lot of Alto out there. I've mentioned this before, but I like mentioning it every time. Everything I have Alto, I paid for. I did pay wholesale for it, but I did pay for it. But here this is. It is awesomely small. Alto's always done really well in the last like 5-6 years with their power, performance, features, bells and whistles. They've tried other things. They've stuck with what's going on out there. This is an amazing piece of hardware, but it is small. So for professional use, all by itself, unless you add it to a subwoofer, which I have done, by the way, it's a little small to carry for distance. Because it's really loud here. It's loud 5 feet, 6 feet, 8 feet away. It's very, very loud. And it sounds amazing. But you are limited with the driver size on how much carry space, how much energy we're going to be able to push in front of it. So though it can lift an awful lot, it can't carry it very far. That happens, by the way, with all of them. It's all in scale, proportion. So let's look at what goes on here. Ba-doom, ba-doom, ba-doom. I should have put some felt down on that. All right, so when you get to a speaker like this, and yes, I am trying to show the back of this. So I want to make it so that you guys can actually see it, and I'm not just going to talk about it. There we go. There's lots of options. If you have an Everse 8, you're very familiar with seeing all of this kind of stuff. Plus it has an app. Plus it has a whole bunch of cool stuff. And amazingly enough, I mean, a lot of people, they see this and they think that's all there is to it. This shit is really, really smart. When I turn this on, besides the Bluetooth thing, which I've learned you can actually mute now, it has a lot of great features on it. Now, normally you just basically decide how you're going to pole mount it. Is it going to be on the floor? Is it a monitor? Is it a wedge? Is it, you know, where it is? But this button also does double feature. If I hold it down, this is the trick most people don't see. It allows you to press on any of the input controls. So if I push on this one here, as soon as I turn that knob, it starts blinking red. When it blinks red, it comes over here and tells me how much volume or gain control I have on that particular input channel. If I turn this dial, same thing happens there. I know I'm trying to do this so this way you can see it. Look. So this way you can see if you actually have added any gain to it or anything like that. Wow. So that's a neat feature. There's lots of great features. This also has effects that you can set up on your app and then just control from the dials in the back. So a lot of the things you would use if you plan on using this completely as a standalone. Now remember, completely as a standalone, just like the Everse 8. A lot of people miss that as well. The Everse 8, you would plug everything into the Everse 8 and then plug that into a secondary speaker. So if you had an extra 12-inch speaker you wanted to set off to the side, run it from the Everse 8 off to that 12-inch speaker is going to run that speaker. Could also be a subwoofer. That's how I've used this with a sub. So this and Everse 8 will do that. That's why. But if you're doing something where no one's talking, people are just in front of you, and you have one or two of these guys, I mean, that's crazy. If you're using this for ceremony, that sort of stuff, we're talking DJing, If you're busking, if you're doing something in a restaurant, you put this on a stand, and it's literally for the people at the bar, like people right around you. You're not there to entertain anybody past who can stand in front of you. This will do the job, just like an Everse 8. And especially just like the Bose L1. If you have a preference, if you listen to them and you ignore the amp plates and you ignore the bells and whistles, everyone's going to have a preference when it comes to how they sound. Everybody says we've got this just right. We know what we're doing. This is what your voice sounds like. None of them are the same. I mean, it doesn't matter how much they claim to be an FR capable speaker. I've never come across two speakers that claim that they can reproduce perfectly flat exactly what's coming out of your mouth or out of the instrument in front of you and get it right. You're going to say, I like this one better than that one. That's just the way it is. By the way, that brings me to when you go to a store, whatever favorite music store you have, because Expert Island's closed now, so you're going to have some other favorite store to go to. If it's a big store like, let's say, Guitar Center, I don't know, is there anybody else left besides Guitar Center? I mean, you have your local shops, which are awesome, but even those, I would recommend that you call ahead and make sure that the audio guy that takes care of this stuff is there and not the guy who sells guitars or the guy who sells drums, because usually there's two people on staff, and you know, most of them are like guitar guys, but a lot of them do other things. Sometimes you go into some stores and they are like DJs and they are comfortable talking to you about what the speakers can do as a DJ. And some of them are good at doing live sound because they're a sound technician or an engineer. And this, you know, part-time job, both sides, right? That's how it goes. Those are the people you want to talk to. So if you call ahead and you find out, oh, I was going to come down tomorrow, but I found out the guy's there on Tuesday night, Wednesday night, and Thursday night, so I'm going to go one of those nights to talk to that guy. It's a perfect way to do business because you get who you want. Also, now I'm not with Sweetwater. I don't know. I can't find. I think Sweetwater has a direct program. They'll come and talk to you about stuff. But anyways, they have, you can call and talk to people, and they've segregated their staff into groups. So this way they, you know, these are sound engineers. They're like teachers kind of thing. They don't necessarily all go out and work the field, but they can talk to you about it and make you feel comfortable with it. The other way you can do the exact same thing. You get two ways on Guitar Center to do that. They have the ability for you to talk specifically to specific type of people on their site. You can call them on the phone. So for a lot of folks like me, I prefer to talk to somebody. You ask me to talk to a chatbot, I'm going to swear for like a whole bunch of you know, I use AI for a lot of things. It helps me with all kinds of stuff. God forbid I need to ask somebody a technical question and I'm talking to a chatbot. Nothing stupider than talking to a 2-year-old robot about something you're having a hard time explaining in the first place. And yet that keeps throwing you down the same rabbit hole. And when you pop out the other end, they say, oh, you still need help? Well, here, let me get you to the top of the rabbit hole so you can start your whole thing again. Guitar Center, big guys, they have real people answering the phone if you call. And it's not like they're doing you a favor. That's how they do business. I actually get emails from my regular subscriptions. So these people don't know who I am. These are just people I talk to, right? And it's like, I have any questions, boom, that's, you know, they see me and they email me as if I'm a regular customer. So that's kind of cool. And, you know, they all do that. If you don't want to talk to a chatbot. Now, who would want to talk to a chatbot? I don't know. Chatbots are basically a way for people to lose their job. So what's next on the list of me complaining about stuff? No, okay. So again, for Alto, sound quality, performance, reliability, I give it a pass. Like I said, my biggest fear with the Alto is how far away you're going to go from it. Because it sounds great for its size. Remember, I'll use that word. Its size is very, very important. If you're just playing the stuff for background music, you put that next to any of the speakers we're talking today, you're going to really enjoy and be impressed by it. And that's a big deal. That's a big deal. Okay, so let's go. What do we got next? What's next on the cooking plate? By the way, if you have questions, I will try and do my best to figure out where I'm at. So we got folks like James here. Yeah. All about Wednesday night. Yes. Look at that. Remember, if you somehow come across my short video, it's available as a, if you're on the vertical live, you can go to the full live if you have a hard time seeing. Also, if this is your first time here, thank you very much. By all means, and also note that this is turning into a big group of people who just like doing live shows randomly, spontaneously. So watch James's show, watch Aaron's show. Everybody's coming back with live shows because it's just, you know what? Just get it done. It's okay. And let's move on from here. So we've been, off and on. I don't have the Everse, so if anybody asks me, ooh, can you show me what it looks like? I don't have it. And I've mentioned that before. It's not that I don't want it. It's just that the arrangements have never been made. And for my pity party, I'm going to go and say, oh, but I'm in Canada and it's so hard because the big orange guy is making things very complicated and the companies are always concerned about sending stuff to Canada. So, that's my pity party right there. So don't worry about it. I've been dealing with this for years now. Bose is something else I never really got into, but I've had actually customers come into my store and say, hey, Robin, take a listen to this. People would bring me their gear because they're buying a mixer, they're buying something else, they want to know how to hook it up together, and, they maybe, yes, they bought it online with no idea how to use it, and then they came and saw me with their equipment and bought something else because, they felt like, Robin, I'll buy the mixer from you if you can show me how to use my speaker with it. So in that case, Bose, again, very unique sound. They tend to come in high with their price because they do tend to come in first with a whole bunch of tech on their products. And their speakers are very, very smart when it comes to designing. They are the company who basically designed the very first line array, portable line array, not column array, line array, which is basically this kind of stuff here. So though I may joke about if it's got no highs and it's got no lows, it's got to be Bose. This concept where the speakers are offset, this is them, okay? Now this is Harbinger, but this is considered a line array because of the offset of the speakers. If these speakers were all straight or tapered in a curve like this, but all lined up, that would be a column array because we're working everything as a column. Here we're trying to actually diffuse some sound to the left and right, up and down, fill the space around us and expand the actual sphere around us. So Bose came up with this idea first, and I'm not praising them. I'm just, stating fact. Now, they're not the first ones to come out with the idea. I don't know who used to build them for churches, but if you go into churches that have speaker systems from the 70s, on the pillars in these old churches used to be column arrays. So not a new invention, just new in the sense of making it so grand that they are like today. So would I go out and buy a Bose? I buy a Bose like I buy a JBL. I didn't put that on the list here, but those two brands are, don't worry about brands. So if I go and transition this, I just want you to see this because this is going to be the one and only time that we really get into this. This is the Bose. Now remember, $599. Is this on sale? It's $100 off. Sound like I'm selling shit today, but it is. If you're not watching this live, double check the price. Don't hold me to it. That's why I'm showing it to you. During this live event, it's on sale at Guitar Center. Use the link down below. So it's very, very smooth for sound. It carries really, really well. I think they overhype everything they say. The marketing is absolutely phenomenal. But again, it's a couple of $100 less than the Everse 8. And I know a lot of people are very happy with it. I know a lot of people get bored with it too. Just like, if you spend $800 or $700 on the Everse 8, you're not going to get bored with it because you spent $700, $800. and you're like, ooh, I got to get my money's worth out of this, even though, you know, I might get tired with it after a couple of years, but I don't see that happening anytime soon. Again, Electro-Voice is they kind of got that speaker right because they threw away the price. They said, how good does this have to be without messing with the price? And that's pretty much what happened. By the way, I do want to thank, my little pop-up screen's not working so much, so I'm going to try and clicking on it here. Channel, I'm trying. Thank you for the $2, by the way. I do absolutely appreciate that, and you are my #1 guy today, being on top. And that's only because I'm having a horrible time looking at my chats. So I'm going to just do this here for a second. I'm going to go back to my main screen, and I'm going to pull up I never really gave myself a second thought of how I was going to see my chats, by the way. So let me see if I can't do that. I'm going to pull this down here for a second. I am going to bullying up my chats here and see if I can't get there. Aha, aha, aha. Because I really messed that one up, eh? Yes, I did. Okay. Everybody can take a good look at, there we go. That is my vertical chat. All right. Yes, I'm pausing this just long enough for me to make sense of what I'm doing. And that is, and if y'all got a chance to see that, that was some pretty, you know, 141 views so far. So I want to thank everybody who's viewing this right now. So the count is going up great. That means, you know, I picked the right time. Took me all day to figure this out. Okay, so where are we at? Look at that. That's where everybody's at. Rick, look at you going crazy here. Okay, sounds good. Phone. Oh, yes. You're on the phone. Yes. Okay. So I was asking Rick when we started, if you could actually, if you're on the stream right now, just comment to me how you're watching this video. Are you watching it on your phone, or are you watching it like on your TV or on your computer or whatever it is? If you're using earbuds, let me know, and let me know if it sounds good. I just want to make sure that I'm giving everybody the best experience, and I'm really, you know, curious on, you know, how you watching the video. So let's get on to the next speaker of the day. We're going to see if we can't pull that up here. And there we go. So is it possible? I'm just checking here. Hey, live. Are we live? Hey, are we live? Oh, you know what? I may be. Oh, no, that's showing me both everybody at the same time. Okay. I'm still trying to find my other live, by the way. I'm only seeing one live. Where's everybody else? Where is everybody else? And go to the live and go to the live. Okay. And I'm going to mute that. I'm still trying to find my other live, really get in anybody's ear. I'm only seeing one live. I'm doing that at the same time. Where's everybody else? Yes, I'm sorry, guys. I'm just checking shit out here. I'm gonna let you see what I'm seeing here, because I'm just, you know, why are you just staring at a blank screen of Alto speaker right now? Let's do this. Okay. Put that over. Okay. So what I'm doing is I'm trying to look at here. I'm only seeing one live. What I'm doing here, so this way I can understand what everybody else is watching. Sorry, guys. I'm just checking shit out. So everything's working there. I'm gonna let you see what I'm seeing here, because I'm just, you know, why are you just staring at a blank screen? I can see comments now. Alto speaker. Yes, there we go. Hey, look at that. Comments are on the screen. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm trying to look at. Yeah, so the boss. What I'm doing here is Bose. Bose and the Altos. Understand what? Yes, I'm sorry, guys. I'm just checking. Yes, the Bose and Altos. Actually, no, the Bose is more roundish than the Alto now. And hello. Yes, there we go. Hey, look at that. Comments are on the screen. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm trying to look at. Yeah, so the boss. Watching your iPhone. What I'm doing here is Bose and the Altos. Understand what? Yes, I'm sorry, guys. I'm just checking. Yes, the Bose and Altos. Actually, no, the Bose is more roundish than the Alto now. And hello. Yes, there we go. Hey, look at that. Comments are on the screen. Okay. So what I'm doing tonight, eh? There you go. Yeah, so the boss. Watching your iPhone. What I'm doing here is stealing a line from James. Yes, I'm sorry. You can either buy one. Actually, no, the Bose is more roundish than the Alto, or you can buy like 2, 3, or 4. Hello. Yes, there we go. Hey, of the MLS 1000. Okay. And what I'm doing tonight, eh? There you go. Yeah, watching your iPhone. What I'm doing here. Stealing a line. Investing a couple of grand in a speaker is very hard. You can either buy one. Actually, the Bose is more rounded than but there's absolutely you can buy like 3 or 4 pairs of speakers. There we go. At the last 1,000 offer more. And what I'm talking tonight, there you go. Much more specific every time you drop stealing a line. All that random speakers you can either buy you don't want that trailer, especially if you are in, but there's absolutely you can buy like 3 or 4 pairs of speakers or New York. At the last 1,000 offer more. And what I'm talking tonight, there you go. You gotta be careful about it. You gotta say, hey, stealing a line. I think that speakers here is either buy you don't want that trailer, especially if you are in, but there's absolutely you can buy like 3 or 4 pairs of speakers or New York. At the last 1,000 offer more. And what I'm talking tonight, there you go. You gotta be careful about it. You gotta say, hey, stealing a line. I think that speakers here is either buy you don't want that trailer, especially if you are in, I really agree with every Jersey to New York. At the last 1,000 offer more. And there you go. You gotta be careful about it. You gotta say, hey, stealing a line. I think that speakers here is either buy you don't want that trailer, especially if you are in, I really agree with every Jersey to New York. At the last 1,000 offer more. And there you go. You gotta be careful. You gotta say, hey, stealing a line. I think that speakers here is either buy you don't want that trailer, especially if you are in, I really agree with every Jersey to New York. At the last 1,000 offer more. Mute that. You're gonna. James is about to save us all here. All right, tell me if that's working. Is that? Oh no. Okay. Hang up and call me back. All right, we're gonna see if James is gonna find out because it turns out we've messed up the audio stream really, really bad. And did that fix it? I hope that fixed it. Don't know why it messed it up so bad. Okay, you know what? I know what's going on. See? Took a second there. We're going to mute that up there. That's going to do that. Guarantee that I don't mess it up now. Okay. Did I fix that? I hope I fixed that. Okay. All right. So there we go. Problem. My apologies to everybody who had to tolerate that. Problem fixed. Fixed it. Yay. Everybody thank James for fixing the problem. Because if it wasn't for him, I'd be like, I don't know. I don't hear nothing. I don't wear headphones, remember? Guess what? That's a message. And the message is from, let's all assume it's from James here. We're going to say, James is saying, we good now. There you go. Awesome. Okay. So, where was I before I rudely ruined the sound for everybody? Okay. Yes. Let's get to speakers once again. Now, price point we're going to talk about next is Mackie. Mackie's come out, and this is where everybody's a little concerned because, everybody's gone out, and if you've spent big bucks, you spent the money on your Verse 8, you've done your due diligence, you've said, this is what I want, and then Alto comes along and just ruins it. Mackie comes along and just ruins it by bringing out a speaker that's right now $400 instead of $450, because guess what? It's also on sale. Yes, I'm not making this up. It's literally also on sale. So the Bose is on sale. The Harbinger's on sale. I really don't want to stress anybody out who might like to buy a lot of speakers out there. We all know who I'm talking about. And so the Alto, so Jen's asked about the shape and size. I do like, if you could see it now, you can see this. I mean, the Alto has, if you're into the razzle dazzle of how good a speaker looks, it's got a funky grill to it. I mean, let me hold that up sideways. It's got a funky look to it. Like I said, it weighs. For the price they sell this for, you're like, wow, that's kind of an impressive piece of hardware. And it's all by itself when it comes to cosmetics. It's kind of in between the Bose L1 and the Verse 8. So let's talk about this guy. Oh, yeah. So, yeah, I'm exaggerating. I'm just leaning over to do stuff here. I don't know. I mean, I really, as an overall company, now remember, they supply me with those speakers, and I really like that speaker. And I'm not saying that because they supplied me with that speaker. I'm saying that because it's just, it's a reasonable, it's a speaker that fits in the price. So there you go. So you're looking at like $399 right now. So that's a big deal. So remember the prices we've been talking about up to this point, right? We had a couple of Harbingers between $100. I didn't show you, but I also have the RT75 and a used RT100, $150. Normally those are like what, 200 bucks? Then we looked at an Alto for $350 on sale for $340. Not much of a sale there. Then we talked about the Everse, which is on sale for $724, normally 800 bucks. And the Bose L1, I'm really pushing the algorithm here. This way it's going to like read the text after and go, oh my gosh, she's talking about everything. The Bose L1, did I memorize it? It was $599. It was originally $699, so it's also $100. This guy is on for $399, and you're not sacrificing squat. That was the impressive part with this. They've been on a bit of a binge lately with the Thump, and then they came out with thrash. Why would you call something thrash? It rhymes with trash. My speakers, my thing is so, you just want to say trash. I mean, it's not bad. I'm just saying, why would you make a speaker rhyme with, it's like pile. You don't, why? I know it's for pile driver, but that's not what everybody calls it. Thrash? Anyways, yes, I can say that word all day long because I'll just forget it and just call it trash. And it's not trash, just the bad word, right? Anyways, Thump. They didn't have to do this, but they did. They separated the amp core. So this is the part that the D-class power amp is mounted to. There's actually a gap back here. It's all gapped and everything like that. So it's actually quite impressive what they do back here. And then the preamps are on this side here. And again, we just have to accept the fact that if you're going to pay 35% more for product because there's tariffs, $399 for the fact that this has great sound and a lithium battery in it that's replaceable, which most of them, by the way, are not this conveniently replaceable. Look at this. I can tear it apart with my thumb. So yes, you can get to the Alto and it's not bad and they do sell it, but it's much harder to get the Alto than it is to buy the Mackie. Mackie actually went out of their way to get this out there right away with their products. Easy enough to charge. It's basically a hybrid laptop battery. And when I say hybrid, it's a laptop battery that's made into a cube instead of a flat, something that will go in your laptop. And it just lines up and goes back inside. Easy enough to swap. If you had two of these speakers and you had some extra batteries, you could literally change out one battery at a time pretty fast. And then keep going with your whatever you're doing, your event, if you got to the point where you had to do it. No, it's not like the subs. They don't give you the option to put a second battery in or a hot swap because that would be just making the speaker too heavy and too clumsy with extra things on it. Just where you're going to put it, I don't know. Anyways. But they've also put the app on that. That's what I'm telling you. For the price, app included. And I'm only looking because, who knows what can be going on here now. We can't see your live camera. Oh my gosh, thank God. If it was for, I should really have set James up as the producer guy. You can't see my live camera. God damn it. You're live now. Okay. Let's just say I'm going to edit that part out afterwards. So, okay. Where was I? Okay, talking about battery. So what you missed, and I was like Googling over myself, is the fact that the battery is easily pulled out of the bottom. Now, I know I feel bad. I'm going to make you all go through this again. But hey, it's the cheese. It's the cheese factor. This comes off really simple. This comes out. Look at that cube. It's literally a laptop battery made into a cube instead of that long, stick-like things that they normally use in laptops. that allowed them to come out with a reasonably price. I don't know why they just didn't use a laptop battery. And yes, I'm the same way. Why didn't they just, they could have been the first to do it. Why not do it the same way they do it on a drill, right? Squeeze the sides, pop the battery out, battery's out, hot swap back and forth. I mean, it's like so cool if they would have done that. I guess they're just not at that point yet, but that would have been awesome if they would have done that. Now, what I was saying by description, it would have made a great podcast. This amp plate, this whole back is metal here. This is all metal. The amp is on this side here. You can tell because you can see some of the screws there, and the power supply is at the bottom. Preamp, amp, all that. Price-wise, that's what we're talking about. $400, you're probably just going to go out and buy 2 of these. And it's not because you have to buy 2 of these. It's just better if you do. You end up with better sound. You end up with the same overall that you're going to see with the EVERSE 8 when it comes to amp, power, performance, all those features, I swear to God, line up. Now, just like I said originally when we started, the speakers are going to sound different. You're going to like one better than the other. There's no extra, the technical term is cob effect. It's the type of noise that gets made. So the speaker's doing its job, ba-boom, 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 inside the box. All that sound is coming out of the front, whoosh, pouring out, a river of sound. But at the same time, the sound is also getting generated inside the box. Things are going to add to the sound. That's called cobbing effect. Now that means when sound comes out and it makes contact with something else, and that something else makes noise, like if you listen to it, you say, my table's vibrating, or my table, if I pick up the speaker, it sounds different than when I put my speaker down because I'm hearing the table, or it's too close to the wall and I'm hearing sharp acoustics coming off the wall. That's cob. Now you get the same thing just pouring right through the box because the sound hits the box on the inside, transfers through the box, comes right out the sides of the box, the top, everywhere, and it's going to spoil the sound. The idea is companies go out of their way to control that, manipulate it, get it as good as they possibly can. And some companies are very, very good, and I don't think they get enough credit for this. They program it in. So basically, it goes into an acoustic chamber room. We've all seen those impressive videos where they take a speaker and they put it in a room, and the room has all these little spongy, pokey things off the walls, and they close the door, and you can't hear a thing. You can't, doesn't matter, you yell, there's no echo. It's the scariest place if you close your eyes because you have no sense of what the room sounds like because there's no sound. They play the speaker in there, so they have a benchmark reference of what the sound should be. They play the speaker in there, and then they invert whatever. So if it's a little bit lower than it should be or a little bit higher than it should be, they basically program that in on an EQ base. So this way they can bring it back to where they wanted it originally. So even though, let's say this box adds a little bit extra at 200 hertz, adds, let's say, a +3 or +4 where it's like tarnishing the sound, or let's say it adds a +6 at 4,000 hertz, which would be really bad because that's 4,000 hertz, and I don't know why, but everybody hates that. You can then program that into the acoustic room settings. So the DSP chip, the sound chip that they build on these things now, the default would automatically cancel that out. So it would run it so this way, saying, we know the box is going to create an artificial sound. We can program the actual chip to EQ that sound out. It's kind of like think of feedback, right? Where we program it out. We can do that to help modify and correct any imbalances in the speakers. So that's a technical way of what a lot of companies do. The problem is no companies tell you what their recipe is because they don't want to tell you that, you know, we had issues with this box when we put this amp plate on it because it was too much steel and we didn't put a plastic thing inside, so we EQ'd any efficiencies out of the system. I'm not saying there is, but the problem is there's no way to find out if there was. We're just, you know, I'm not going to spend $1 million on equipment to do that. They will. So there you go. When you compare a speaker like this to a speaker that's, let's say, $150, $200 on Amazon, those are going to be the differences that you hear. That $200 may sound awesome, but you wouldn't compare it to, let's say, an $800 speaker. you'd say, well, you know, that $800 speaker sounds way better, but it's $800. Well, that also applies to a speaker like this. Now, the reason why we're not looking at an 8-inch or 10-inch Alto or Harbinger is because we don't have a battery-powered version of that. We're talking battery-powered today. So we've got this here. So at $400 to $450, this is a very solid option. Now, this is the part that I like. Besides everything's great and it sounds good, and these things are all, everything we've talked about volume-wise are pretty close to each other, except for the, you know, when you're down to these guys here, they're different. And the Alto, it's just smaller, so it's different too. And if anybody's a super Lethal Weapon fan, that's like George Pesci, it's just, you know, it's, you know, you're just a different friend. You're not Froggy. You're just, you know, you're somebody else. That's really good friend that you're not replacing Froggy though. But in this case, this looks like Froggy. Anyways, so again, Lethal Weapon. Joe Pesci talking to, you know what I'm talking about. Anyways. What's our big friend today? The big bonus guy today. Oh my God. There we go. Now, this guy's like in the 40 to 50 pound range. But what I really like about this guy, besides the fact that they sent it to me, is that it has a pole mount. Now, this, oh yes, this is the Mackie Thump Go, which is the double 8-inch with the pole mount, with the most smartest feature you could possibly put on a speaker. And what are we talking about? We are talking about the fact, you know, I'm coming over here to see this because I'm always wandering. I'm a wanderer. A lot of speakers have Bluetooth, they have smart link capabilities between the two of them, stuff like that. But they tend to lose it when it comes to how to manage the subwoofer. Pretty much all the speakers out there have this shortcoming. These guys are like, everybody else is going to be racing. I guarantee you within the next 12 to 18 months, by this time next year, Christmas, I feel like Bernie Sanders when I talk like this. By this time next year, Christmas, you're going to see at least 2 or 3 other companies with this out there. I'm telling you now, it's going to happen. You're going to see that other companies are going to race to come out with a version of this. And then, of course, once it starts, it ain't over. We've got a double 8 here. I guarantee you we're going to see a double 10, and then maybe a double 12, and a double 15. This is like how the companies have double 18s. They're not battery powered, of course. They're double 18s, but they're like $5,000, $4,000, $6,000. But they're huge. They're monsters. Double 18, like, but it's all about this right here. The type of sound. Now, of course, subwoofers just make sound out and it goes everywhere, and that's, you know, the general rule of thumb of science, you know. But you can engineer the crap out of them to create a different, a more deeper, richer sound by combining them together and working together in a similar fashion to line arrays. Now, I'm not going to get into all the ins and outs of what companies do because, you know, there's a lot of math involved. And though I'm good at math, not that kind of math. And, you know, that's what AI is for, figuring out that shit. But what I am going to tell you is that this speaker can reproduce much lower frequencies of bass than your standard 12 or 15-inch will. It won't carry as far, so definitely you're looking at bars, grills. You know, I think if you bring this out for a cocktail hour, it's because you don't have a line array. And you're going to bring this out to a cocktail hour because you can hand dolly this in with your other speaker, and you can easily set this bad boy up. No problem. Like here, you know, I'm just going to show you. If you had this, I mean, this is the ultimate speaker stand, by the way. This is sitting on the floor, right? And think about it. It's sitting on the floor like this. I will get my table set up right here. There we go. So this is sitting there on the floor, and you use your pole mount, screw it in there, toss your speaker on top. Bob's your uncle, Mary's your aunt. Done. And that is incredibly simple. This can act in a smaller environment as a line array. Now, you can't use a point source and call it a line array or a column array, simply for the fact that this is going to create sound out like a bubble, like a half sphere, where column arrays are going to create it more like a can. Take a can, look at it, face it in one direction, all that sound is going to peel out that way. So, but in a smaller space, these two guys are going to do an awesome job. So if you're doing, you know, a corporate event where they just want great sound, a little bit of background dance music, because you never know when someone's going to break out and boogie, this would be a good combo. Now, you can use any speaker you have on top. So if you have an EVERSE 8, by all means, throw your EVERSE 8 up there. If you have an Alto, throw your Alto. If you have a Busking speaker, yes, there's a pole mount right there. Put your Busking speaker on there. Any of those is just going to make your system better. And people ask me all the time, I'm looking for a system for home. This costs about as much as a 15-inch or an 18-inch base model subwoofer. And it's way different. It is not the same. But it does have 2 batteries built into the bottom of it. It is pretty much the most impressive piece of hardware I've seen this year. And probably the only new piece of hardware that I've seen in the last 2 years that's going to make a difference in how people use equipment. There's lots of other stuff that comes and goes. There's lots of stuff that's just getting better. There's not lots of stuff that's new, right? Like, I mean, if you're a DJ, you know about controllers. Like, there's always a new controller. Change this, change that, change. Fundamentally, they basically have stayed the same. Minor tweaks, minor changes. Some companies have gotten into new market demographics, like that's all kinds of stuff. But leaps and bounds changes, boo, outside of getting rid of CDs and, you know, coming out with new software options and changing the way the market works, they've just added more to their mix. This piece of hardware here, with the battery option, with the 888, introducing it, much, much better. And by the way, they're not the first. I've said this before. A company called Yorkville came out with a 12, which was very, very smart, except that it's Yorkville, so it wasn't marketed very well. And anyways, the difference is made in China, Yorkville's made in North America, aka Canada. Oh, let's put this on the floor. Oh, it's not that heavy. It's not that heavy. Now, again, the Mackie Thump Go allows you to use the Bluetooth feature on the back of that to go up to your speaker. So this way you can run the subwoofer and the speakers all from one Bluetooth source. So if that's your thing, this is the way to go. Awesome. And is there anything anybody wants to know? Does anybody have a crazy question? So we're going to go into a crazy question time because it's coming up to 4 o'clock and I don't want to, you know, bore people. I can do this all day, huh? I'm one of those kind of guys. Oh man, you got... Yeah, you sense James is thinking about that dual 15. Yes. Wouldn't that be cool? I'd be happy with a dual 12 or even a dual 8. Dual 10. I think once we start seeing subwoofers come in duals, we're going to see the industry get all excited all over again about subwoofers, because that is super, super exciting stuff. So I am going to try and see if I can find my other live chat box. There's that one. That's still the same one as that one. I keep finding the same chat boxes. There we go. Everybody is muted. Yes, now. Yes, thank you very much. And yeah, price points. Mackie's. So, you know, there we go. And it is true, like James mentioned about the price points. Yes, you can get 2 of the Thump Goes for the price of basically 1 Evolve when it's on sale. And that's a big game changer. And then we get from And then we've got the battery powered dual. Could you imagine if they, could you imagine, it would be like taking your Tesla to a gig. If they managed to put lithium batteries inside of your 18-inch subwoofer. First of all, if you had like if you had an Evolve 70 or 90, they're not going to dance around the floor if you've got like 50 pounds of batteries weighing the damn thing down. I don't think we're going to see that just because of the cost factor. But you know what would be nice? This would be my thing, is give me the option to put a battery in my speakers from now on. With a D-class power amp, the best way I can describe it, and if you've heard me describe it, you know I'm not BSing you because I've said it exactly the same way so many times. D-class power amps today, on the power supplies they're driven on today, are like LED light bulbs. I can use a 100-watt condensate bulb to brighten up this entire room, or I can use a 9-watt LED light bulb to do the same thing. We've gotten very, very good at transferring all the energy that we take from the amplifier and drive it through and into the speakers, which means our amp plates are not like the old ones where we have the big rack amps that just have like 3-4 fans in the back of it because they got to burn off so much heat. These fans have to pump all the time. Now think about it. When was the last time you had a speaker that had a fan on the back of it? And then remember how loud it was compared to what you're buying now. That's a big difference. It's efficiency. If we can take all that electricity and turn it into music and turn it into an amplified source of output to the speakers, we're going to get a lot more for the amount of electricity we need to make it work. So I think it would be awesome if we started seeing our 15-inch speakers and our 12-inch speakers having a click option, a slide option, so you can lock and load a battery right into it. So don't sell me the battery, because maybe the battery's $200. I don't know. But give me the option, so this way there's a little flap, plastic flap, and I can take this battery that I would put on my snowblower, because if anybody lives north like I do, I have an electric snowblower, and that electric snowblower has a honking 48-volt battery or something like that that goes inside and locks in and the door closes. I mean, that is what I'm talking about. That battery can run those speakers for 4 to 6 hours, no problem, at heavy, heavy volume use. So I think that would be pretty awesome, right? And Rick's got a question. There you go. Wait, let's catch up on some questions. We got some from Rick here. By the way, I'm not going to go until I've solved everybody's concerns. I'm a little slow and I talk a shitload a lot, right? Everybody knows that. Ricky, I still haven't bought my new speakers because I can't make up my mind. I'm trying to stay around $500 per speaker. Yeah, that's a big choice there. And I look at that. See, now I look at that and I go, Rick, you're DJing with these, right? These are for DJ or personal consumption, or are you I gotta check your channel. Do you have anything on your channel, Rick? Or do you have any videos posted? I'm just gonna ask the question. You answer it when you got time. Yeah. A mix of pop, EDM. There you go. See, self-answering the question, by the way, if I would have gone 2 down. Then for family around home events. There you go. See, I asked a question. You already answered it. Home events, not for business. I still want... Okay. I'm telling you, Rick, if you can get it, I would say, yeah, I just read all of that. Yeah. Now... I would love to see you get, my best choice for you would be either to get a pair of MLS 900s or MLS 1000 line arrays, because they just sound the nicest in a home environment. If I'm playing it in a studio, a small space, if I'm in a house playing, line arrays sound better than point source speakers. And it has to do with the tweeter on top. The sound that comes off of the line array, not a column array, by the way, a line array, okay? A column array, people who have it on an Electro-Voice, let's say, and you start cranking it up, everybody will tell you the same thing. When you walk in front of that speaker, the energy is annoyingly loud. Like the amount of, from 400 and up that comes off of that column on top, is really hard on the ears, which is one of the reasons why I'm not a super fan for it for DJs. But DJs like the convenience, and of course, like I say, as you get older, blah blah blah. But you're always trying to get that horn above everybody's head. So if you take a regular speaker, you need to make sure it's high enough that it's out of the way, or that it's on the floor set up like a stage monitor. So like if you ever watch The Voice, this is The Voice, and the speaker's laying on the floor as a wedge. So I took this speaker here and I set it up on the floor like this. Get it the right way, like this. That would be absolutely awesome way to go. That would be a perfect way to have speakers in your house if they're point source. But everybody thinks I'm nuts for some reason. But then when they do it, a couple of things happen. One, if you're using it at home for pure personal entertainment, as long as you can see the speaker, you're good with it on the floor. And when I mean see the speakers, if let's say you're having a Christmas party and you have 12 people over, if everybody's sitting down, these speakers are sitting on the floor, you're fine. If everybody's dancing, you can't see the speakers anymore from the back of the room, then they probably should have been on poles. But most of the time, you're going to have them outdoors, indoors. If it's outdoors, you need to put them on poles or set them on the deck if you can. Indoors, like this, on poles if you're having a big party and there's like 30 people in a room. But line arrays can do you better. Now, Rick, I'm going to do you a favor. And everybody's welcome to participate in this. By the way, James, has MLS 1000s. It's on sale now. Look at that. See, look at that. See, we're going to do that ourselves. He's right. If I go here and I type in MLS 1000, look at that. James is beating me to the punch here. Buddy, look at that. Let's spin that over. Everybody needs to know this. $250 off. Can you imagine that? It's like buy two, I give you a third one for free. Let's bring this up. I mean, if you don't have a pair of line arrays and you're looking for the most convenient, easy to use line arrays besides James's Exciton, let's not forget about those. If you're going to use them at home, you're going to use them at smaller venues. And I am going to make this spin over here so we can all see it. And transfer. There you go. There you go. That's your shopping pack. That's your Christmas gift right there. Rick, if you're not buying yourself a pair of MLS 1000s, you got to go and get a pair. Now, by the way, don't go in the store and give the guy the cash. You go in the store, you look at the video, you use my link, you buy them on your phone after listening to them in the store. Pay for them, pick them up in store. You're all set. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. You are welcome. Eventually, you can then turn around and get yourself a subwoofer. I would absolutely, my fan favorite, I have a choice of like a dozen subs here to use on a regular daily basis. My go-to sub that I play behind me, because yes, I have an Alto 18, I have an Alto 15, I've got 12s from the list goes on and on. But they're all connected, so I can listen to whatever I want. And what do I listen every day when I come down here? The MLS 1000s with an Alto subwoofer. Because the Alto subwoofer, not just for its price, but as a 15-inch, and the box design, amp, the recipe they put together on that particular unit with the DSP processor that's running that system, that sub is about as good as it's going to get. And it sounds awesome. So that would absolutely be my go-to favorite package to look at. So this guy here, this speaker right here, look at that, eh? $499, $250 off. And you know what? It's worth the price at $750 because a ton of people bought it when it was $750, what, a year and a half ago, 2 years ago? So absolutely, absolutely, for sure. Yeah. So I mean, you got to go. You got to get that. Okay. And I was thinking a 10-inch subwoofer. Now you're thinking a 10-inch subwoofer. No. If you don't do a home theater sub, by the way, don't go to Best Buy or Amazon and buy one of those home theater subs that you can buy for a couple $100. That's 10 inches. Those are strictly for watching movies with one of those, little speakers that go on the front of your speaker. By the way, if anybody hasn't seen it yet, I watched it last night. Mission Impossible 8's out. Was it Dead Reckoning? Blah, blah, blah. Watched last night. It was pretty awesome. Won't tell you about it, but it was pretty awesome. And I got to see that last night. It was very nice. Don't go to the movie theaters anymore. Ever since that, thing that happened in 2020, I stopped going to the movie theaters. I just got myself an 85-inch TV and my life is good. Oh, by the way, with a home theater surround sound system, you got to have that. So, of course, I will. Yes, of course. Thank you. I appreciate that. I know you go to the store, it's hard, They've been trying to work something out there. And where are we? Look at that. And all right. One day I'll get this. He's going to make a video for me just so he can pronounce my name. And by the way, so I'm talking about Milad. I don't know if you're still there. I'm just going to go with MK. I'm calling you MK. So if I call out MK, I'm talking to Milad because I feel like Donald Trump trying to pronounce somebody's name who doesn't know how to pronounce somebody's name. And just la, la, la. So, yeah. So that's a big deal. So early on, I missed it up a bit. He was asking about monitors, James. Monitor, and James answered back. Next video about monitors. Yes, because James, are you using the Exoton or do you have something else to monitor? No, you can use your Electro-Voice. If I remember everybody's gear, think about it. I owned a store. I couldn't remember somebody's name, but I can remember what they owned. So you've got the ELX200s, and those are in 12s, if I remember correctly. And those make excellent monitors. Overkill, because I mean, you really only need, ZLXs for monitors. But if you're using it as a personal monitor or even as a stage monitor, you can't go wrong with that. If you're buying one and you don't have one, I would certainly look at the TS4 12 because it's not a very heavy speaker, but it's really, really good. And it's a compact size. It's got a good size body box to it. The design is really, really good. Works out really, really well. If you don't mind carrying an extra 5 pounds, you then have options like the Mackie and my fan favorite. And again, it's not because I have it here. I asked him for it. I was willing to pay for it like James did with his speaker, and we came up to an agreement otherwise. But Harbinger's got some badass. Now, if you're using it as a DJ speaker, if you don't mind the size, like you're going to put it underneath your table, by all means. They've got if you want to just get stuff for like next to nothing. I'm trying to remember what the series is. Oh yeah, 1100 series. Ooh, that's pretty impressive stuff. So, and what do you want to split your? Yeah, sorry, I'm just YouTube pops up things sometimes. You just got to read them because you're like, what am I reading? I don't know. All right, so here we go. All right. So yeah, let me bring this up and then spin the screen over to that because I think that's worth having a little chit chat about. Other speakers that do a really good deal for you, and this is if you're looking for amazing volume. Like they're not. These are one step below. So these speakers are normally for fun and for free use. So, and amazingly enough, Harbinger has no problem with me saying that. If I say that about certain brands, it's like, whoa, please don't use that word. But in this case, they're not, because they actually agree with that, because the price point is, that's why they did it. They did it for people who actually have to pay out of pocket for stuff, and it's going to be used for personal use. Or in this case, a monitor. And that is the, what's it called? VS11? VS11, they have so many things. Let's see. Did I get that right? V11. Yeah, it's V11. Yeah, so we got V11. Yeah, we'll just go with the 12, see if they have any in stock. The V1112 was so popular, they were sold out at one point, right after launch of that product. And then it's back again. That speaker's now, that's $199. That's one of those guaranteed low prices because I think they launched at $249 and now they're $199 again. That's crazy. That is crazy. And that speaker is very, very loud. for its size and its price. There's no such speaker for $200 by anybody else. It just doesn't exist. There are companies that do a really good product for around $300 and $250. But this speaker here, yeah, once again, I didn't transfer the screen. This speaker that I have on the screen right now, that is amazing. Now, and I'm not telling you to go out and buy it and just take my word for it. If you want, you can watch my video, but you can also go down to any Guitar Center you have and just take a listen to that speaker. That is an amazing, amazing speaker for $200. Now remember, I'm not telling you that this is going to be your next gig speaker, but I mean, if you're doing a cocktail hour and you just want to have some speakers for that, there you go. That's an awesome way to go. Also, I also find it very funny, excuse me, that if you're doing an event that's up close where people are close to you for a corporate event and you're doing it just like in an office area or something like that, why people set their speakers up in the air instead of setting them up like wedge monitors in front of them, I don't know. I just line them against the wall as wedge monitors and let the sound carry up. This way you can have low volume that sounds really good. Now, I'm just looking here at the bottom because there's so many extras. Now, Harbinger is one of these very true to their numbers. They don't want anybody to think that, oh, they exaggerate. So they're at 55 hertz to 20 kilohertz. Amplified volume for up to 100 people per speaker. That's for talking purposes only, please. Let's not exaggerate. This is like how Electro-Voice said that they can do like, I don't know, 500,000 people or whatever it was. But again, that's for corporate events where you're setting up speakers and you're giving away awards and plaques at Christmas time and you're thanking people for all their hard work. When they say 100 people, that's what they're meaning. If I'm going to drive that bass, if I'm going to drive that volume, and I'm going to really want to crank it up and impress people, well, then of course you have to be responsible and say, that's not the speaker for that job. Now, at a house party, not a bad way to go. I've been very, very impressed with those speakers for sure. But again, this is what's going to blow you away. You go to the store, $200. If you're buying this for yourself, for fun, for free, as a monitor, as an extra set of speakers to go out and do like gigs that have 50 people. If I have 2 of those speakers, I have saved enough money to buy myself one 18-inch subwoofer, and there is no gig I can't do for 50 to 100 people that those speakers aren't going to do the job for. It's just that simple. If I own a bar, a restaurant, if I want speakers for my patio, for outdoor use, I mean, I'm going to look at that. Now, of course, they're not waterproof, but man, there's like so many reasons to buy those speakers at $200 each because they're $200 each. Anyways, you should definitely take time to go down to a store. I think you're going to have some fun doing that. $200, that's crazy. And look, oh, by the way, if you want to treat yourself and you say, I want bigger, I want better, 15-inch bigger, you go to the 15, $250. And if you're in the store, you're going to go, well, why not just listen to the 3412s and see what they sound like, because they're only $300 right now. That's what I like about big corporations. Big companies. The advantage of big companies over small companies. The things you hate about them are also the things that you're going to be able to like save a lot of money off of. They own the brand, of course, and if you don't know that, they were a brand, an independent company who's now part of Guitar Center for like ever, and they built them into a really big brand all on their own. So like they run themselves, they have to make profit, they have to design and engineer all their shit over at Harbinger, and then they sell it through the pipeline on their end. It allows them to do whatever they want price-wise. That's the incredible part. That's why you get to see so many sales, because the manufacturers, remember, they control the price. Doesn't matter if they say they don't. If you see this speaker on sale, if you see a Mackie speaker on sale at Guitar Center and they sell it over at Sweetwater, Sweetwater ain't price matching them. Mackie's giving them a reduced cost to offset the speaker. That's how the industry works. I was in the industry. That was my job. I would always try and time it so this way I can buy speakers at a lower cost and carry them forward as much as I can so I can get as much money out of them as possible. But if you own the brand, if it's your speaker, if it's your brand name, you can decide what it's going to sell for. You can decide what you're going to make money with. And the other thing that most people miss out is that a company has a choice. I can either sacrifice quality to keep my margins up, or I can go with volume, or I can make it in-house and get rid of the middleman. You get rid of the middleman, that's a whole bunch of money you get to play with that the other guys don't. So in this case, when you're that big, when you're Guitar Center big, which by the way, they are the biggest. I mean, in the electronic industry, there's music and then there's, you know, electronics, there's Best Buy and there's Guitar Center. And so they both anchor each other off, and those companies are measured in the billions of dollars when it comes to sales annually. So they can do shit like this. And all you have to do is make sure you go on a good day, because the most expensive thing inside of a Guitar Center is that person is going to help you. It may sound odd, but it's true. So yeah, speakers, look at all those options. Man, I got to go down to Buffalo, New York, so I can get to my store and see what's going on. Unless they want to fly me out to California, which wouldn't be a bad idea, right? So there you go, lots of sales, lots of going on, and I want to check one last thing. So let's flip this back here. And yeah, everybody always talks about speakers, mixers. Don't forget, everybody needs a good microphone. Everybody needs a good microphones. So I'm not asking you to tune out. I'm just saying, microphones you don't have to buy an off-brand, or you don't have to buy an Amazon brand microphone because you want a reasonably priced microphone. You're really hoping for something good. Now this could be for DJ use, could be for live singing, could be for the spoken word. You could be using this in church. You can be using this at home to do karaoke. And again, I'm going to show you what I got sent to me and I've been playing around with a lot. And it's these guys. Now I did a video on it, and you know, hey, don't blame the messenger, right? These are, we do have a video up here, right? So these are from Sennheiser, and they now have basically 3 main targeted price points, because they have 3 series. They have the the XSW1 series, which is what this is. So if you're buying it for the spoken word, for karaoke, for DJ use, good way to go, because you're so many channels, the frequency is amazing, the distance is great, all those things work out. It's not for big production hall work. So if you've got a church that has like 5,000 people in it and you broadcast on Sundays around the world, this isn't what you're going to buy. But if you're only looking for 1 or 2 microphones, that's the way to go. And I have the microphones here somewhere. Oh yes, of course, because I put them on stands. I put them on the stands. Now, amazingly enough, so when you spend like a couple of $100 on the one, you're going to get this. It has a display on it, shows you everything that's going on. It's got a mute on-off microphone, great karaoke microphone, great spoken word microphone, great if you're buying a couple of sets, like a dual or 2 singles for DJing. Very, very nice. And that's very, very reasonably priced. And if you're asking, why am I not talking about Shure? It's not because they didn't send me mics. I have lots of Shure mics. It's their Coke and Pepsi, really, when it comes down to it. And man, if you've ever listened to a pair of Sennheiser headphones, you know why you'd want to get Sennheiser microphones. This is part of their top series. So their top series is their digital series, and you don't have to be very smart on how to use the actual digital series, because that's why it's digital. It does everything. It does everything you can possibly want. And at this point, you're really getting some professional stuff. So this is, again, if you're looking for some high-end, you're buying in for a church and you've got huge budgets, you're going to be buying into this stuff here. If you're a band that travels a lot and you need zero fail rate products and you need to have a good selection of goods, this is it. If you're running a theater, anything like that, that's this stuff here. That's rack mountable. I'm very impressed. The middle line that they have, it's slightly better. It's kind of like an elevated version of the bass line with more channel options, smart sync, and all that kind of stuff. And they all have the option to be either handheld or body pack. So that's a big deal. I don't use this anymore here. It does work for me and I can use it in here. I use these things now, but this is like for doing, you know, podcasts and vlogging with. So you're going to want, if you're doing karaoke or you're doing DJing work, you're going to want to get into something like that. Try to avoid, when you can, try and avoid the basic stuff that's out there. Because even though it'll work and it'll work really well, the clock is ticking. The clock is always ticking. And when you're buying into Sennheiser, AKG, Shure, that sort of stuff, I'm being very generous about AKG. They're just better built, better tested, better burnt in product. Anyways, I can talk about that all day, but nobody wants to talk about microphones. But I thought, you know what? Everybody deserves a good microphone. I'm going to throw a mic into every product review that I do now, just so we talk about microphones. Okay. I'm curious how many people I lost talking about a microphone today. Let's see. Rick, there you go. Seen both of y'all reviews. There you go. Thank you. Of course, I'll use the link. Thank you. And there you go. So what time do we have? We've got almost 4:30, and I want to say thank you very much. I know it's 3:30 in Houston time, and I want to thank everybody for coming out. If there's no other question, I'm going to check my actual short live stream here and see if I'm not missing anybody, but I want to make sure that I've covered. If you've got a question, I'm going to hang around for 5 more minutes to do this with you. I just want to make sure that you got your questions answered and I didn't miss anything. And on the shorts roll here, can you check my question in the other chat? Okay, so that's a YouTuber user. I'm going to look for your question in the other chat. So sorry, I have to check the shorts. I've got 2 cameras, 2 videos running at the same time here. And let's take a look, see if I can't find that. And there you are. Can you check? So I'm seeing the YouTuber user. Can you check my question in the other chat? I am looking back and forth for your question. Way back at the beginning of the show, a long time ago, I got asked, oh, and thank you, by the way, for the $1.99 from MK. I appreciate that. And I'm just looking for somebody's question here, seeing if I can find it. Oh my gosh. I hope you're here somewhere. Hello, hello, yes. And sorry, I'm just trying to make sure I cover everybody. All right. All right, the person who is underscore YouTuber user, that's an odd name, but hey, you got it. I'm looking for your question and I can't find it. So I'm checking both the actual shorts video and the actual live, and I am not seeing it. Or maybe I'm not seeing the shorts feed. Maybe that's what's going on. And I will check that right now. So yes, I am. Here we go. That's the short. Here we go. I found your question, YouTuber user. All right. What do you think? Oh, here we go. Everyone, here we are. What do you think about the Alto TS415? Oh, one of my favorite speakers, the Alto TS415. For you, not for me. And this is, I'll tell you the irony in that, but I've said this story many times. We've been using it. I'm sorry, I'm just going right back to the question, reading it off screen. You can all see it. It's on the side chat box. Using it in a mobile DJ, but it doesn't seem to carry very far or have enough bass. Now, how many people do you DJ for? How many people are at your event, and how many people are on the dance floor? Those are two numbers. So there's going to be a big number and a smaller number there. I'd like to hear what your number size is there. Everyone says for DJing we must need an Evolve 50 or an RSCF or a QSC column array. Blah. Yeah. Well, you know, the default is if you're going to go out and spend $2,000 on each individual speaker that you're going to DJ with, it's going to be good, but it's $2,000 a piece, right? So, I mean, you got to ask yourself smack yourself on the head. You know, it's like, yes, it's a no-brainer. And if you have no idea who you're going to be playing to, so let's say like the nice couple who DJ together, and they seem to be in a smaller town. Now, they can be doing a big corporate event. They can be doing an outdoor venue. They can be doing a small birthday party. They can be doing a wedding. They can be doing all kinds of things. So they got themselves the Evolve 70. So I'm honestly thinking that they're taking that fact that they need to do all these different things into their buying choice. Yes, they are very strong, bulletproof type speakers, but they do carry a big price. And once you add tax and all that, they're pretty pricey. So that's the reason, you know, you spend that kind of money, you don't have to worry about it, right? And basically, so what do I think outside of buying the most expensive things? Okay, do I think you need to buy the big? Those are very expensive, and we can't afford 5,000 plus in speakers. We have two altos. We use about $900 for both. There you go. It's true. You know, usually it's about 100 people to 200 people total, and maybe 50 dancing. See, that's practical. That's a working man. That's somebody who's working right there. So would I use two MLS? So Rick, I'll get to your question in a second. I'm going to finish here. Yes, bass and make the. Now, I don't think you have to run out and replace. The number of people you're doing your work for is very good. Now, can you let me know, where do you live? I'm assuming I'm hoping you live in the States. Maybe you live in Canada. Maybe you live somewhere else. But statistically speaking, on YouTube, you live in the States. So let me know. And do you have a guitar center near you? That's important. I want to know if you got a guitar center. So can you fill me in on that one? So okay, North Wisconsin. There's going to be a guitar center in North Wisconsin. There might be. It's not if it's not Guitar Center, you're going to have musician friends online. They also have they've taken over another store. You check my links, you'll see there's another branded store out there. What is it called? It's not Musician's Friend. It's Music and Art. That's it. Anyways, if you call your store, your local store, and you say, hey, do you have the TS415s in stock, because they have that exclusive there. What you're also going to find out is you want to hear a subwoofer with that. Your investment is not going to be in getting bigger and badder speakers, because at having 50 people on a dance floor, you're more than welcome to keep those tops, add a subwoofer. What you're going to be able to do is contour out the bass out of your tops and be able to carry the room better. You're going to be able to carry the room better. I would take your stands, put them up one more notch. I'm not sure how high you have them, but push them up one more notch. Get them another 6 inches higher. That's going to make a big difference. And make sure that your speakers are spaced apart at least 16 feet, if not even more. I know DJs like to put them like right next to their tables. If you can push them out a little bit further, you're going to see them do a job. Or if they have to be right up next to you, put them on a 45-degree angle facing out, because you don't want that overlap in the center to bleed and cancel itself out in the middle of your dance floor. So definitely, you don't want to put them on the corners, which works, but you want to put them in. So basically, if you had a 20-foot dance space in front of you, divide that into 4. So that means 20 feet divided by 4 is 5, 5, 5. So you want to go in about 5 feet on each side, and then you should be about good to cover all the space without really hindering. And I'd actually taper them in a little bit at that point. You're going to see a huge difference in sound, and you'd be much more impressed. A lot of times, a little bit of adjusting with the speaker angles is going to change the room dramatically. I'd also invest $25 or $20 on Amazon to get yourself a dB meter. Let me see if I can find one. I use one all the time. dB meters are very handy because it helps you, when nobody's in the room, to do some minor sound adjustments. So somewhere in the studio, of course when I need it, I can't find it. I always have it with me. Anyways, you only need a $20 dB meter, and that'll do the job for you. So that'll allow you to be able to do some small adjustments in your sound, get your volume to, let's say, 40%. Change the angle on your speakers, walk around the dance floor a bit and see where your dB meter goes weighted for sound. That's going to be the C. There's a button that says AB, it's AC. You go for C and that's weighted. And that's going to really, really help you out when it comes to determining angle and height of your speakers. And you also want to do that at least once or twice during the night when you have people in the room dancing. If you can take your meter, reset it, step away from your controller, walk around to the back of the floor with your meter and take a reading of what your dB level for the same song is with the people on the dance floor, that's going to help you out dramatically. And what's that going to let you know? Sorry, how much you're losing. Because again, I'd like to see the speakers up higher. I want to see the main 15-inch driver to be ear level to people on the dance floor, and I want to have the horn above their heads. And if I need to, I prefer to have speakers slightly tapered in towards each other, further apart, slightly tapered in towards each other. This way we cover a good spectrum of the dance floor. It's also a magic trick to get people to dance slightly further away from you in front and kind of create this arching feel to it. Because what happens is it's not as exciting right in front of the DJ booth as it is everywhere around the DJ booth. Slightly further apart, slightly tapered in, manage that sound. And I hope that helps you out a bit. But yes, I would definitely go listen to a subwoofer and see if it's in the budget. That would be, and rent one. Don't have to buy one right away. The VR 18 sub is on wheels and you can rent one and try it at one show and see how that feels. And then make a choice. Do I need this? Maybe I don't need it all the time. Maybe I'll just rent it when I need it. It's going to be charging the customer more anyways. So now we're going to go back to Ricky's question, which is, so what would I do? The MLS 1000 better than, okay, point source, 415, 4415s, 4412s are like a no-brainer. If you can afford them, they're in the budget, you're set. But if you're going to use them the way you plan on using them, I'm absolutely going to tell you the MLS 1000 is the way to go. Absolutely the way to go. I'd probably, if you're not sure, rent a pair, and they'll probably even, if you ask, if I rent this pair of speakers today, and I like them, can I get somehow a credit of my rental towards the purchase of the speakers? There's still a store, who knows? They might let you rent, and I'm not saying this is factual, I'm not saying I've tried this, I don't know, but I'm just telling you, there's no harm in saying, asking, if I rent a pair of speakers today, and I decide to buy a brand new pair of speakers tomorrow or the day after, can you do anything about my rental that I'm paying for today to apply it towards the purchase of my speakers? Is that a possibility? Is that something you can do for me? Is the manager around? I'd really like to talk to him about making this happen today. That's what I would do. And if you do it with a smile and you're nice about it, it's amazing how being polite, courteous, and patient at a store gets you, the customer, a lot more in return. So just sharing with you, you know, my buying thoughts as a person who owned a store, right? Put it this way, I had guys who come in the store. I'll give you a short little story about, I call them the nice customers. The customers that come in on a regular basis. You know them. They come in and they buy stuff. You know, they're yours. They're not shopping online. They're not shopping around. I sell big audio equipment, so DJ equipment, stuff like that. So you're not going to see everybody every day. It's not like you're the grocery store. You're the audio guy. I mean, they're going to come see you when they need cables or when they need speakers or something like that. But If it was busy, and these are people that I've been in 2-3 times, they come in and they know that it's busy. They'll say, I'll wait for you. I'll wait for you. Don't worry about it. Well, you know, it's okay. We'll sit back. We'll poke at some stuff, and you know, you finish off those folks, because you know, people that come for the first time, or they, you know, they just come in for the holidays, so busy, they just come in and they, you know, boom, you're there, right? So, and you know, those are the customers that always got the extra foam microphone covers and got the extra scrim thrown in with their speakers, and like, you know, people who got like, it was easier, you know, if I got covers for free from the company, those are the guys that we get. Like, I mean, I'd have like, you know, I get like, you know, 4 of each size from a manufacturer. It starts with the letter J, let's say, right? And it'd be like, you know, am I going to give that to just anybody? No, I'm going to have a lot of people coming in buying JBL speakers. I'm going to give them to the customers I know and like, and who would appreciate the fact that I was able to hook them up because they're good customers. So you want to try and be the good customer, and amazingly how the level of treatment that you and the person in the store get, and the easier it is for, you know, things to go your way, let's say, become. Anyways, that's just a helpful tip there. Best I can do for you. So, well, I hope that helps everybody out. I know we've been going kind of bonkers out of here, right? It's been a very busy day. I want to thank everybody who's here. But I think we're going to call that a day. Everybody seems to be good with their questions. I think we've done it. I think we've done it. And yeah, let's take a look. See here. I'm going to clear that out. Yes, we're going to take a look one last time. Again, I'm here for you today. I'm here to answer your questions. And hopefully we get through this and everything's good. Let me just bounce back here, make sure I'm on the right screen. Yes, I know I'm so far away. I'm all the way back here. I even put a speaker to make it even harder to see me. Yeah, let's make sure we get the last screens here up, and I'll get there eventually. There we go. More questions on this side. See, there you go. I'll get there. See, I'm not running away, because like I said, I got to flip between screens here, between my short live video and my long form live video. And here, where do we got? Ah, right. We got DJ Willie. Will. There you go. Wonder why you could only Bluetooth stereo link to speakers with no more, and not more. That's a good question. I'm going to answer that here in a second. I'm just going to I'm going to catch up on these questions, and I'm going to answer your question right now. YouTube, the Alto TS are also the best. You know what? I don't have a problem with the Alto TS. By anybody ever says, I'm going to answer the Bluetooth problem, but I'm also going to just quickly, because this is a quick and easy one. The Alto TS, because I was a retailer, I had Alto, and I don't want to make it sound like I'm bragging, so I'm not going to say it that way. But when the Alto TS2 series came out, I decided to launch a YouTube channel for my store. You're watching it now, Expert Island. And I had a stupid amount. There was no Alto content on the internet, on YouTube. It was very sporadic, very rare. And I didn't know why, but I decided I was going to make all these videos. And I did. I made all these videos, and they weren't for being popular on YouTube. They were to help my store. And everybody around the world watched them, and they were very, very successful. And I thank everybody who took the time to watch a video, and I'm glad I was able to help them out. That being said, outside of one pair of, I kid you not, don't ask me how I got this, but they sent me, InMusic also owns M Audio, and they sent me one pair of, they sent me this, a pair of these guys, studio monitors, 3 years ago, maybe, or something like that. Anyways, but they just don't do that, and it's very hard to really talk up a product when you can't get the manufacturer to try and support your channel, because trust me, if 100,000 people watch a video, lots of people decide to buy speakers. So I like Alto. I'm going to tell you to go buy Alto. If it's the right speaker for your job and your situation, and you like the sound of them, they're good quality speakers for the price. That is for sure. Now, Bluetooth. Oh, I'm going to read this last one and get into that Bluetooth. I have recently bought a pair of headphones to go with my PA system. Bear 16. However, the headphones can be very quiet and easily distorted. All right, do I need an amplifier? You might. I'm going to answer that question, but first I'm going to talk about Bluetooth and connecting Bluetooth to multiple speakers. So let's get a little closer. Let's get a little friendly. I'm going to sit on a subwoofer, something nobody should do. My cameras are still working, right? I'm just a little slow getting here. What? Yes. I'm looking at the wrong live. All right, so we're talking Bluetooth. Why only 2? That sort of story. So let's make this happen. I'm going to waddle around. I just watched myself walk. I'm like a penguin. I'm like a penguin. Waddle like a penguin. All right. So let me tell you about a story about a man named Jed who only had 2 ways to get Bluetooth to work. Now, the original way was just 1 speaker, 1 phone, 1 device. Then they came out with TWS, True Wireless Stereo. True Wireless Stereo allows you to hook up 2 speakers simultaneously in a linking format. This is where people talk about, well, aren't you getting brain cancer? Because if you're wearing Bluetooth earbuds, when you're wearing your earbuds, it's not 2 signals from your phone going to each earbud. It's 1 signal going to one earbud, then it goes through your head and it goes to the other earbud. I kid you not. It's just the way it works. Everything goes through our head, by the way. Now, there is multiple point source connectivity. And I don't know why they don't use that. Multiple speaker connectivity means that I can hook up to, let's say, 50 speakers. If you've ever watched like a Linus Tech Tips video, he had one at Christmas time where he had like 50 speakers all over his house, small guys, they're all hooked up. Now, for some particular reason, nobody really goes that way unless they're doing these small speakers. And I don't know why. Maybe it's a security issue, link capability, that sort of thing. But most of them, because they're just trying to achieve a stereo sound. And also remember, the manufacturers only recently, outside of, a few, remember not too long ago, only way we got Bluetooth was if we went out and bought a Bluetooth Total from Alto, right? One of these things, right? We'd go out. We'd buy one of these things, and that would turn our professional speaker into a Bluetooth speaker, right? You just buy one of these kind of things with an XLR, and off you go. And then they came out with this guy, which had one on both sides, so you can hook up 2 speakers. Now, what we're finally seeing now is that we're finally seeing like the Mackie Thump, again, game changing on that 8-inch Mackie Thump sub. And I'm not doing it, I'm not bragging for Mackie, I'm bragging about the product itself. Game changer. They were smart enough to figure out the problem and put the Bluetooth in the subwoofer and then bring the Bluetooth up to and then allow you to cable up. But you still could only connect one at a time. So you're connecting to the speaker and then you're coming up. So you're kind of limited on that. The only way you can professionally get multiple source connectivity is with a Alto Stealth. Now other companies do it. I'm just saying Alto Stealth because it comes to my head and I don't have to search for it. Alto Stealth runs off of a wireless digital signal, and it allows you to have originally 2 receivers with the transmitter, but you can buy as many as you want and add transmitters to it. Other companies who do the same thing is X-Vibe. X-Vibe has a digital version of even better, these guys here, which is basically wireless XLR. But the important thing is if I had, let's say, 6 speakers on one side and 6 speakers on the other side, I only need to have my left and right transmitter, which would be left and right transmitter, this guy here. And then I would have as many receivers as I want set to whatever channel I want, and the other one would be to another channel, and they would all run all those speakers simultaneously. The only downfall is these are 5.8, so the quality is good. There's nobody else in the industry broadcasting at that level, and it's going to make things better for you, but you're going to restrict range. It's kind of like why 5G, when it works on your phone, works really great, but then you turn the corner and 5G's out and you're back to 4. It just doesn't carry well. So you're going to get your 75 to 100 foot range on the 5, and that's about it. And if for some odd reason you set those cables, those transmitters up low on your setup, then that can be a problem. But yeah, you're only limited to 2 because the industry went that way. And it's, like I said, right now, we're very fortunate that in the last 5 years or less, everybody's decided that Bluetooth is a necessity, and it's a necessity because everybody wants a convenient way to set things up sometimes. Not every time is going to be set up with a controller. Not every time you want to run it, sometimes off a tablet or off your phone. You're just using it for recreational purposes, or maybe you just have a set list that you're just going to play because that's the type of venue. For live performers, Bluetooth is mostly used either when busking, where you're playing your music in the background, straight into Bluetooth, or if you're taking some time off and you're going to go to the bar and have a beer or a drink or some water or something like that in between sets, you can then just Bluetooth to your system and play music that way. You still need XLR cables. Your best friend is to have XLR cables until we go completely wireless, which is coming. And again, this is just me talking too much. But if you ever see speakers that have a network connection on the back of it, that is a system that allows you to connect to a network and can network everything together with basically like 5 millisecond delay, which is basically the distance between me and the camera, 5 milliseconds of delay. So there's no delay at all. And if you're interested in, there's a YouTube channel called Dante, where they talk about. So you just go Dante network, audio system Dante, video system Dante. Doesn't matter. You want to get to it's like an hour of videos because like 10 lessons, and they teach you all about this shit. But it's the next generation. So a lot of top end equipment is done that way. So you see a lot of cable management being done with network cables. But it also brings you to the next point, which is like at home, you don't have a house full of CAD network cables anymore. It's all done wirelessly. So we're literally 5 years away from everything having Dante on it, but then everything having a wireless option to it. And then you just basically need to bring a router with you to create a Wi-Fi broadcast, so you know wherever you're at. And then it's not internet, it's a closed network. It's closed network. You can get it to be an open network. So this way, if you're running it in a stadium or something, that's how they use it. But if you're running it for your personal use, or like, a DJ or a bar or a club, you can run it on a closed network and just manage it through one piece of hardware. Could you imagine that? All your equipment being wirelessly connected. 5 years. That's where we're at. 5 years. Okay. There you go. Awesome. So let's go through the last. Anybody? Okay. All right. So used on DJ. Only listen to Bluetooth and leave the other ear open. Yes. What was that? Oh, by the way, I'm having sent to me. I should go check. They might even have arrived. I don't know. I have these new headphones. So I was asking a lot of DJs if they've been trying to use in-ear monitors for DJing. And everybody's told me they've tried it and they didn't like it. But I was offered, and at first I wasn't sure, but then I went, hey, wait a minute, this is perfect for DJ. So I have a whole brand new set of really high-end DJ headphones that comes with a receiver, a transmitter box that goes with your equipment, and you get this high-end, like you're wearing headphones, no delay, like 5 millisecond delay, for your DJ headphones. This is like super badass. It's all contained. You can run it with a cable or you can run it with the transmitter off your controller like it was, like you were plugged in. This is going to be badass. This is coming in soon, and when it does, you're all going to get to see that. It's going to be beautiful. Beautiful. And let's see, where we at? Where we at? And bum, 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 bum. And what? I just wanted to make sure I cover everybody here. And yes. Okay, so all right. Totally not Curtis. Totally not Curtis, by the way. Totally not Curtis. Question. I have recently bought a pair of headphones to go to my PA system, and I use the Behringer 1622. However, the headphones can be very quiet and easily distort. Do I need a headphone amplifier? Totally not curious. If you can tell me what set of headphones you have, that would be really good so I can check. Now, I mean, there are some really high impedance headphones out there. But normally, if you're plugging into the headphone jack, even super high impedance headphones, which are like the really, really expensive ones that are over 800 ohms, you still hear them pretty good. I mean, they will eventually distort, but I'm just gonna I'm gonna have to do a little research on this mixer because it's been so long. I know I did the video on the mixer, so it's been, I think I did the mixer. We're gonna put a space there, and to FX, I'm assuming, or USB. Let's go with USB because you most likely bought the USB. Maybe you bought the FX ball. I don't know. So, and I'm just looking here because this is what I do. I try and try and try. Get a close-up picture if I can. And see, oh, there's so much on there. So your headphones, Bluetooth headphone monitor. Make sure you have no solo lights on. If you have that mixer, you don't want to hear solo lights because if you're hearing low volume and distortion, it's probably either you have one of those solo buttons on your channels turned on. Check all your channels on your mixer. Make sure you have no solo buttons on. And if you do, they have to be on the channels that you're listening to, the ones you're trying to use. Also, of course, I'm assuming your mute is turned off on any of those channels. And yeah, you definitely, your solo individual channels in the PFL level settings. It's a very sophisticated little mixer, even though it doesn't seem like much and it doesn't cost very much. It's got a shitload of functions on them. But what you want to do is make sure that your your solos are off, your PFLs are off, and go from there. And then turn up and make sure you're sending your signals to your mains. You got to send your signals somewhere, and then you can listen to them on your headphones. Mixers are fun, and a lot of people own controllers think that mixers are pretty simple, but they can get you in a whole bunch of ways. So make sure you turn those solos. Make sure there's not one solo light on anywhere. All right. Well, let me know how that works. You can always send me a regular message, and we can follow up on that. But I hope that works for you. So yeah, the Pro, yes, 250 ohms. Yeah, so totally not curious. I'm not. Your headphones are good. Nothing wrong with those headphones. I don't see that being. I know they're 250 ohms. Get an amp if you've made sure all the solos are off and you put in a $20 pair of headphones in there and they work just fine, then yes, buy yourself an amplifier. They're very nice headphones, by the way. The DT990, very nice. If you want to show off to people with your headphones, those are a nice pair of show-off headphones. Just letting you know. But check your solos. That would be my biggest thing. And for everybody else, you can highlight the DT990 Pro and have a look, see what he's got. It's a very cool set of headphones, and if you're looking for headphones, very, very nice. And okay, so there you go. Just checking to see if I missed anybody. I don't think I missed anybody, and I'm sure I missed people. I do apologize if I missed somebody. Going back and forth. There we go. Ah, yes, look at that. So, yep. All right, guys. A lot of people tuned in today. I want to thank everybody who's taking the time to watch the show. And if we're all good for answers, look at that. It's now 5 o'clock, 4 o'clock in Houston. And we're going to let it go for there. So again, take a look down at the links down below. If you have any questions or comments, leave them on any of the videos that I have. I try and answer them as much as I can or as best I can. And I'll see you soon. I'd like to thank everybody who watched the show today. Thank you very much. If you're watching this in syndication, I want to say thank you to you too, because you know what? You missed watching it live, but you know, hey, this can be 2026 and you can be watching this video. So again, thank you there too. So I'm going to let everybody say goodbye and we're going to call it a day. Thanks for watching. Bye for now. And look at that. As everybody knows, I got to find those end screens. We're going to end that video. End it. Yes. The shorts is being